The American farmer didn't get where he is today by celebrating Christmas with phony trees, wax popcorn, plastic candy canes. Gentlemen, to the American farmer, Christmas is real.
The screen glows, and a city lawyer trades skyscrapers for cornfields. Green Acres wasn't just a fish-out-of-water sitcom. It was a gentle daydream the nation kept returning to. Week after week, Eddie Albert's steadfast Oliver and Eva Gabor's luminous Lisa took us to Hooterville, where logic bent, neighbors bargained with a smile, and even a pig could steal the scene. From 1965 to 1971, this surreal little fable made rural life feel like a song you couldn't stop humming. Right up to the day the network winds changed. Fact number 1. A TV farm grew from a forgotten radio patch. Long before Hooterville flickered on living room screens, its seeds were planted in sound. In the summer of 1950, writer-producer Jay Summers tried a modest radio comedy called Granby's Green Acres, with Gail Gordon and Bea Benaderet, 8 brief episodes, then silence. But Summers kept the idea alive, the banker who didn't know farming. The city wife caught between satin and soil, and when CBS wanted a companion to Paul Henning's rural hits, he replanted the concept for television. The title stayed. The spirit stayed. Only this time, Eddie Albert and Eva Gabor brought the voices to life, and the little notion from radio became a 6-season absurdist hymn to small-town wonder. It wasn't lightning out of nowhere. It was a patient harvest, 15 years in the making. Fact number 2, 1 shopkeeper, 3 towns, same week. In a television landscape that moved like a merry-go-round, one steady figure kept turning up behind the counter, Sam Drucker. Frank Cady played him with such easy warmth that, for a brief, marvelous spell in 1968 and 69, he was stocking shelves in 3 different towns at once, dispensing dry goods and drier wit across Green Acres, Petticoat Junction, and even the Beverly Hillbillies. Viewers could tune in on 3 separate nights and feel the same small-town heartbeat, the same bell over the door, the same gentle smile. It wasn't a gimmick. It was a thread that stitched the Hooterville universe together and made CBS feel like a neighborhood. Cady later laughed that he was lucky to be remembered for it. Lucky for us, too, because Sam Drucker made those crossroads feel like home. But just outside that cozy store, the winds were starting to shift. Fact number 3, the show that knew it was a show. Green Acres didn't just tell jokes. It winked at the audience and at itself. Characters would literally notice the credits as they floated across the screen. Lisa might peer at a superimposed title beside her face, or words would appear on eggs, towels, even breakfast plates, as if Hooterville were being written in real time. And when Oliver launched into his grand patriotic speeches about the American farmer, fife music piped up from nowhere, heard by everyone on screen, except Oliver himself. It was rural comedy shot through with playful surrealism, a gentle reminder that television could be a toy box if you dared to open it. For viewers, that meta-magic made Hooterville feel alive, as though the town understood it was being watched and adored. Fact number 4, the pig who stole the show and got union pay. In Hooterville, a pig could be a son, a student, even a newspaper man in America believed it. Arnold Ziffel wasn't one pig at all, but a succession of carefully trained piglets who grew too fast for the camera and had to be recast each season. Trainers used delicate psychology, never scolding, always coaxing because a pig that lost trust wouldn't perform or even eat. Arnold received fan mail by the sack, and he wasn't just a prop. He had a union contract and was reportedly paid $250 a day. The industry noticed. Arnold won multiple Patsy Awards. The Animal Actor honor, once hosted by Hollywood grandees, proof that the show's most human character might have been the one with the curly tail. In a series that bent reality, Arnold made it feel oddly true. And just beyond the fence, one human star carried a real-life hero's story to set every morning. Fact number 5. Eddie Albert brought real war courage to a make-believe farm. By dawn on Bedio Island in November 1943, Eddie Albert wasn't a sitcom star. He was LTJG Edward Albert Heimberger, guiding Navy landing craft through surf, choked with gunfire and wreckage. When Marines were stranded on a reef under Japanese fire, Albert swung his LCVP back again and again, hauling men out of the water and ferrying the wounded to safety. For those rescues at Tarawa, he earned the Bronze Star with Combat V, with accounts crediting him for personally pulling dozens to safety and directing more evacuations under fire. Years later, in Hooterville, when Oliver Douglas delivered his earnest speeches about duty and the land, Some viewers felt a steadiness beneath the comedy, that same moral backbone Albert had already proven in War. It wasn't just acting, it was character. And beside him, Eva Gabor carried an entirely different kind of magic to set. Fact number 6, a theme song the stars actually sang. Composer Vic Mizzy wrote a duet that worked like a tiny play, Oliver pleading for farm livin', Lisa countering with, "New York is where I'd rather stay." Unusually, it wasn't sung by anonymous studio vocalists. It was sung by the stars themselves, Zeddy Albert and Eva Gaborso. The melody carried their chemistry, their tug of war, their hearts. Session ace Tommy Tedesco, one of the Wrecking Crew, is credited among the players who helped give that guitar snap its playful swagger. The result was a 30-second curtain raiser that felt like a promise. This would be a love story, an argument, and a dream every week set to music. And once the song faded, the show kept playing with reality in ways television wasn't supposed to. Fact number 7, the only actor who could milk a cow. Casting the wide-eyed farmhand E.B. Dawson took dozens upon dozens of auditions. Producers wanted someone boyish, guileless, and believable around livestock. Enter Tom Lester, a Mississippi kid who had actually grown up working on his grandfather's farm. In stories repeated by colleagues and obituaries alike, Lester is said to have clinched the role for one simple reason. He was the only actor in the room who could really milk a cow. He screen-tested with Eddie Albert and fit like a hand in a work glove. That authenticity gave E.B. his glow, the way he handled barn chores, the way he looked at Oliver with son-like devotion. It made the make-believe farm feel lived in. And while Lester brought real dirt-under-the-nails honesty, another actor turned befuddlement into an art form. Fact number 8, Hank Kimball, master of second thoughts. Every town has a talker. Hooterville had Hank Kimball, the county agent, who could turn a hello into a maze. Alvy Moore played him like a man forever, chasing his own tail. He'd state a fact, then instantly revoke it, then correct the revocation until Oliver's patience finally snapped. It wasn't just a quirk, it was a rhythm, almost musical, and Moore hit the beat every time. The writers leaned into it, shaping Kimball as a gentle parody of small-town bureaucracy, a public servant lost in paperwork and parentheticals. You could feel the affection behind the joke. He's frustrating, yes, but never mean. And when Moore shuffled away, self-correcting to the last step, the scene felt complete, like a door softly closing on a grin. His befuddlement gave Hooterville its heartbeat between punchlines. But the show's most surprising boldness came not from dialogue. It came from who was behind the camera. Fact number 9, one director, 1,000 little dares. Behind the hay bales and hijinks stood a quiet ringmaster, Richard L. Baer. Week after week, he staged the impossible with a straight face, credits that characters could see, props that argued with their owners, patriotic music that only the audience and everyone but Oliver could hear. Baer directed virtually the entire run, giving the series a unified, mischievous grammar, deadpan framing, long reaction holds, and that dreamy sense that Hooterville knew it was on television. He'd honed the style in his short film days and on The Twilight Zone, then poured it into a rural sitcom until it felt almost avant-garde. The result was consistency without sameness, a director's fingerprint that made the absurd feel elegant. And just when the show seemed untouchable, a network decision far away from the farm would change everything. Fact number 10, canceled not for laughter, but for demographics. In 1971, the laughter in Hooterville didn't fade. It was turned off. Green Acres fell to the scythe of CBS's infamous Rural Purge, a boardroom decision to pivot from heartland hits toward shows aimed at younger urban viewers. By the 1970-71 season, the series had slipped from its early top 10 heights, yet it still drew loyal audiences and often won its slot. Profitability wasn't the problem, image was. Executives wanted a new identity, and the Douglas's cornfields didn't fit the glass and steel skyline the network had in mind. 2 decades later, the cast came back for the TV movie Return to Green Acres, and for one evening in May 1990, the porch light flicked on again. We returned to Hooterville to say what we hadn't been allowed to say in 71. The joke never outgrew us. The industry just outgrew the joke. The lights dim on Hooterville, and you can almost hear the theme drifting across a quiet field. Oliver still believes in straight furrows and fair deals. Lisa still believes in silk, laughter, and love. Between them, a little American dream keeps purring like a well-tuned tractor. We remember the porch, the water tower, the store bell that meant someone friendly had walked in. We remember that a sitcom could be silly and still sincere, winking at us while holding our hand. Green Acres didn't ask us to choose city or country. It taught us to smile at both. Fade to black, and somewhere, a certain pig signs off the newscast, and we wave goodnight.